Again, welcome to this year's Reading Fest. This is one of several events organized by Tobago Writers Guild. We also have the Literary Affair, which is organized in April, May time. It's very similar function to this one. We invite people to come and share their love of reading and literature, and people present their own original pieces and other pieces. We also have recently initiated the next chapter, which is our open mic event. This is one of the genres favored by young people who are young at heart, where they come and recite or deliver spoken word poetry. That's one of our prestige events. We're on a break at the moment, but we'll be returning with the next chapter very soon. Another equally important event is the First Mic. The First Mic is another open mic event. It's organized at Scarborough Library Facility in conjunction with or in collaboration with Tobago Library Services, where we invite young people between the ages of 7 and 14 to come and share their written work, to play a musical instrument. We conduct spelling bees. We have different types of competitions that young people are enthusiastic about doing. And this is a very successful endeavor, and it continues. Also, just to announce that for any authors, budding authors, or long-time authors, very soon from now, will be the launch of the Tobago Writers Guild Publishing House. So this will provide an avenue for authors in Tobago, Trinidad, and further afield to publish their work. So we think this is a great success. So that's just a few things I wanted to mention before we start. Now, the first thing, or the next thing I want to do is to say to you that we have, as well as me sharing information with you, we have 4 equally prestigious co-hosts. Now, the co-hosts who will be joining me up here throughout the evening are young people, 3 young women, or 3 young ladies, young girls, and a young man, Jonathan, Sophia, Bethany, and Saisha, all of whom have excelled at the First Mic by being the hosts for the First Mic sessions. So they're going to be joining me tonight throughout the proceedings. And I think that you will see and recognize that they are skillful operators, eloquent, confident. They're carrying the banner for literacy, for literature, for the next group of writers in Tobago as a start. So they'll be joining me up here throughout the evening. So when they do so, everyone should, again, give them a warm embrace, you might say, a warm welcome, because what they're doing is very, very important, can be daunting, but they do it with panache and with the confidence and vigor of young people. Now I'd like to welcome to the podium Anne-Marie Davis. Anne-Marie is the principal for Scarborough Secondary School. She's also the vice president of the Tobago Writers Guild. She's eloquent. She has dulcet tones, you might say, when she speaks. She's also known as La Profesora. She's an important individual, and I welcome her to offer some opening remarks for us tonight. So welcome.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony. Slight correction, I'm not the principal of Scarborough Secondary, I'm just the vice principal. A pleasant good evening is extended to all our members of the audience at another session of our annual Reading Fest 2019. As you are aware, this program is geared towards you highlighting your personal talents in an environment where your contribution will surely be appreciated. The Tobago Writers Guild has been in existence since 2010, and it is geared towards developing and honing the literary skills and talents of its members. Over the years, we have been able to expand our literary offerings under the capable and efficient leadership of our president, Mr. Rodney Pigott. Some of our activities include First Mic, which is held for young talented students between the ages of 7 and 14 years at the Scarborough Library on the first and third Fridays of every month. As a result, some very outstanding literary talent has been discovered, and the young children continue to blossom and develop via this medium. This activity runs with the academic year for all schools. Additionally, Tobago Writers Guild developed a young adult forum entitled The Next Chapter, where these individuals could find a niche to express themselves through the medium of song, poetry, and the spoken word. Sessions are held on the first Sunday of every month at the Apex Lounge, but presently the new chapter is on pause for the rest of the year, but will resume with a new series in the year 2020. We have also been able to launch and maintain another additional activity called the Lecture Series. This has been done in collaboration with the Tobago Library Services, and these series are held in different villages around the island. The topics are usually of a local, regional, and international nature, and they are meant to provoke public thought and, if needed, public action, recommendations, and subsequent solutions. So far, these series have been well received by the general public. A special lecture series on Caribbean repatriation update will be delivered here on the 8th of November 2019 by the Honorable Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So please save that date. As members of the Guild, we host our annual literary affair every year in the month of May, at which the literary skills of all members are highlighted. Additionally, every October, we also host our annual Reading Fest, which you are about to enjoy. We are now in the process of finalizing all our paperwork for the establishment of our own publishing house, where writers will be able to submit their manuscripts, which will be edited and proofread before publication. So, our organization is far from being static, but is rather extremely vibrant and dynamic, and it has taken a multifaceted approach by hosting various activities, all geared towards keeping our passion and love for the literary arts very much alive. So I do hope, as you enjoy the offerings presented here tonight, you will have only pleasant memories to leave with. I now hand you over to the Master of Ceremonies as I close. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I thank you.
I will be reading, reciting Maya Angelou's poem, Still I Rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may tread me in the very dirt, but still like dust I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and suns with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I rise. Do you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awfully hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my ties? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide. Welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's so wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts of my ancestors that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise. Watch me.
Thank you very much, Chidima Maynard, for opening the show with an inspiring performance written by an inspiring writer, and every woman, you might say, Maya Angelou, actress, activist, writer, poet, well-known personality. So you've given honor to the name of Maya Angelou with the way you recited that piece, Still I Rise.
The day was windy, and the sea was rough. The skies was clouded, and the sun was hot. As I look up to the sky, I've seen him with my eyes. The waves hit the rocks, and it makes me realize that there is someone far and near, someone who would really care. So we have no reason to fear, no matter where. The birds fly high. They live up in the trees. That's the way we were meant to be free. We take life our own way. Day by day, we are going astray. Let's prepare to walk that straight and narrow way. Now we are seeing many signs. It's the end of time. This world is run by man without God's power divine. Now there is crying every day, destruction in every way. Let's prepare to walk that straight and narrow way. Now we are here. Since that we've been almost everywhere. We have touched almost everything life had to share. In time of trouble, let's have no fear. Our confession, he will hear. Let's change our lives and be sincere. Is there a better way? What more can I say? Let's seek for our salvation and build a new generation. Our wasted days are all gone by. Let our conscience be our guide. Let's walk side by side in the sweet by and by. Amen.
Good evening, everybody. I brought two pieces to read, but I'm only reading one. One more suitable for adults, so I think I'll read the one that's more suitable for the younger members of our audience, but I hope the adults enjoy it as well. And if you've heard it before, please forgive me. This is called Sadie and the Cat Lady, and it's a short story. I was 8. I didn't know how old the cat lady was, but she looked very old, at least 100. She was bent over and had a voice that scratched. I was frightened of her. I didn't know why. She wore long black dresses that were faded and screwed up and patched, with high collars edged with torn lace. When I passed by her house, the door was always open, and I could smell a strange smell. I didn't know then, but it was the smell of cats. Not one cat, but lots and lots of cats. Big and small, black and white and black, tabby ones, ginger ones, stripy cats like tigers, smooth cats, fluffy cats, fat and thin cats, cats that mewed, cats that growled, cats that purred and spat and scratched and clawed. One thing I did know, however, was that I didn't like cats. Every time I passed by the cat lady's house, she was there, on the doorstep or looking over her gate. She seemed to know that I was passing and always called to me in her scratchy, crackly voice, "Sadie, Sadie." I used to push my glasses higher up on my nose, turn my head and walk by as fast as I could. Sometimes I ran past the gate on my 2 skinny brown legs in their tumbly-down socks and dusty buckled sandals, my heart pumping inside my chest as the scratchy, crackly voice followed me. "Sadie, come, Sadie." And I'd shout back, "My name's not Sadie, Mrs. Cat Lady." Even when I skipped along with my skipping rope, turning the 2 wooden handles that had ball bearings in them, my knobbly, knotty black hair bobbing up and down, I would hear the cat lady whisper, "Sadie, look, Sadie." And I always yelled out, "My name's not Sadie, Mrs. Cat Lady." One day I tried crawling on my knees down past the hedge. My flowery cotton dress caught under my knees and ripped at the waist. Then the cat lady asked anxiously, "Sadie, oh Sadie, are you hurt?" I answered loudly, Whenever I heard her calling to me, I sang out, "My name is not Sadie, Mrs. One Saturday afternoon, as I hopped down the road on one foot, round the lamppost, along the hedge, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, I tripped and landed with a crash. My glasses fell off. My knee hurt, my arm hurt, and my other knee hurt. I lay on the pavement crying. What's the matter, Sadie? A shadow fell over me. Turning, squinting through my tears, I saw her, bent and knobbly, peering down. The pounding in my chest echoed in my ears, and her long white fingers stretched towards me like talons. I saw the pale lips stretched in a smile, revealing crooked yellow teeth, the brown mole on her cheek, and the watery grey eyes scanning my terrified face. My name's not Sadie, I said, trying to crawl away, but the claw-like hand caught mine. Come, come. And she led me into her house. The smell overwhelmed me. Now I knew what it was. Cats. Big cats, little cats, white and black cats, tabby cats and ginger cats, stripy cats like tigers, smooth cats, fluffy cats, old cats and young cats, cats that watched me with yellow eyes, cats that followed me with green eyes, cats that licked their lips and twitched their whiskers. There, Sadie. Don't cry, Sadie. And she bathed my cuts and wiped my eyes and murmured while she cleaned my battered glasses. All better now? Her slippered feet shuffled across the carpet as she left the room, returning a few moments later, carrying a glass of lemonade and a slice of sugary, crumbly yellow cake on a green and white striped plate. And the cats watched me from the corners, from the tops of cupboards, from under the chairs and on the chairs, from beside the table and on the table and under the table, from the windowsill and the mantelpiece. And they heard me when I told her again, in a whisper that crept out from a dry throat between rigid lips, my name's not Sadie, Mrs. Cat Lady. Never mind. Sadie is a pretty name for a little girl like you, with your big brown eyes and beautiful brown skin, and hair as soft as one of my kittens. Now, drink this. A twig-like hand gently stroked my hair. Gradually my pounding heart slowed, and while I sipped the lemonade and nibbled the yellow cake, she told me how she watched me passing her house every Saturday and remembered being a child herself, called... The next time I hopped and skipped by the house, the windows were shut, the door was closed, and there weren't any cats on the doorstep. Yet I was certain I heard a scratchy, crackly voice call out, "Take care, Sadie, take care." And I turned around to tell her, like I always did, "Thank you, Mrs. Cat Lady, but..." Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jolie, and today I am going to be doing a poem entitled Safety First. Last year, October, I entered a choral speaking competition hosted by the Lambo Credit Union, and in the juniors category, I placed second. So I thought that today I would share this poem with you. The rules of this competition were that I could not use my hands and I could not use a mic. And I was judged with my facial expressions, body movement, and tone of voice. So I will now present this poem to you. Safety First by Marilyn Lott. Up the streets I look to see if any traffic is near to me. Down the road I look as well and listen for a horn or bell. There's something coming. Wait a bit. If I run out, I may be hit. But now the road is really clear. No car or motor bus is near. I run across the road so wide. Hurrah! I'm safe on the other side. We all want to feel safe and secure. One of the most important things. And at times it's very difficult, for trouble is part of what life brings. And that, my friends, is when we must ask God to show us the way, to trust in His love and so much to be happy about, as he smiles constantly down on us. We take so much for granted though, and we need to make more of a fuss. Flowers in the spring and summertime offer precious beauty, he says. Fresh fruits and vegetables are special items that God has sent. We have to take time to look around and find what will help us endure, because God truly tries to keep us always safe and secure.
Now I'm welcoming my co-host, Bethany Sykes, who's a well-known writer, author in Tobago, and presenter, and co-host of The First Mic. So
Good night, everyone. My name is Bethany Sykes, and I am 8 years old. I will be doing a newspaper documentary, right? And it is called Police Officer Didn't Give Man Enough Time to Explain, but when he does, priceless. A police officer in a small town stopped a motorist who was speeding down Main Street. But, officer, the man began, I can explain. Just be quiet, snapped the officer. I'm going to let you cool your heels in jail until the chief gets back. But, officer, I just wanted to say, and I said to keep quiet. You're going to jail. A few hours later, the officer looked in on his prisoner and said, lucky for you that the chief's at his daughter's wedding. He'll be in a good mood when he gets back. Don't count on it, answered the fellow in the cell. I'm the groom. Thank you.
Should consider myself as one of the newest member. Accepted? All right, I'm just here to do the welcome, a reflection actually of the launching of the 2010 welcome, okay? What a promising aesthetic occasion. This 2010 literacy presentation and launch. Before commencing of our rendition, I also desire to bid you welcome. Welcome, ladies. Welcome, friends, uncles, aunts, even children, specially invited guests, guest artists, and gentlemen. The rainy season has begun with showers of poetry and monologue, sprinkling, drizzling stories, interspersed with flashing melodies, lightning, calypsos, and soca raining. Historic biographies and involuntary renderings, all will be gushing as you wait our offerings. We do appreciate your coming to this, our fabulous public luncheon. Entertainment, however, is very edifying. Please do reciprocate with thunderous cheering. Good evening, everyone. Please note that a twig in a miniature branch or a bigger branch, and twig without the I is also twig, is also pronounced twig, thanks to poetic license, which allows for whatever is required is the best interest of poetry. It is a pleasure for me to introduce to you our TWG. I do so by welcoming on stage the visionary with a passion for Tobagonians, especially youths, to get involved in the literary arts. Miss Lauren Boris Phillip, who initiated the formation of the group. I thank you.
I'm going to be calling Mr. Reginald Phillips, who's a stalwart member of the Tobago Writers Guild. Been there from the beginning, on the front line. He's a published author of several books. I think they may well be available tonight. And there are other books available tonight as well for those who want to leave with a gift in your hand Please have a look at the book stand at the back, where you'll find several editions, including Tobago in Print, which is an anthology of works by Tobagonian authors, one of whom, as I've said, is Mr. Reginald Phillips, who's been a pioneer in literature in Tobago. So welcome, Mr. Reginald Phillips. Welcome.
Good night, everyone. I will read one small section from my last novel, The Sawyers. The intention here is to make a connection with the past. Most of the young people now are unaware of what life in Tobago used to be. So, it may be pleasant memories for those who have lived through that period, and it might be new for the young ones coming up. Jimmy's Tailor Shop was the downtown newsstand, and Mr. Young's Ideal Leather Store was the uptown stand. Whenever Yvette, now 15, and Isaac, approaching 11, were allowed to attend midday movies in Scarborough, their business in town included procurement of Mom's reading material. It is strange that all newspapers were referred to as Gazette. When Dad was outdoors in the pit latrine, he would call one of the children to fetch him a piece of Gazette, which was then the standard toilet tissue for young and old. The call for a piece of Gazette led one to search under the sofa, near to the rocking chair, or in the vicinity of any of Mom's favorite reading places where old newspapers would be stacked. Isaac, what taking you so long? Dad would shout impatiently. It seemed habitual that he would wait until the end of his bowel movement before calling for the Gazette. This late call created a level of urgency that could be avoided if Dad would only plan his visit to the outhouse more carefully. However, he was Dad, and no one dared to tell him to take with him whatever was required during his trips to that place. Others in the household never had cause to seek the assistance on such occasions. In fact, they walked with sufficient Gazette so that they could leave a sheet or two in the corner for use on future occasions. But not Dad. He seemed stuck to the habit of a last-minute shout, which necessitated a rush and a panic that sometimes resulted in minor accidents or unintended incidents. A recent case was the occasion when Isaac bolted into the bedroom in response to Dad's Gazette call, only to find Uncle Jonas and Sister Yvette lying stark naked on Mom's bed. Yvette shouted madly that he must knock before entering, but Jonas diplomatically offered him a dinner mint if he didn't tell anyone what he saw. Anybody could tell me where Isaac gone? Was another shout from the latrine. "I come in, Papa," was Isaac's response. "I can't find the Gazette, but Mom said you could use this piece of old cloth instead." "Fix back the door properly," Dad shouted at him. The door was the blue seam crocus bag that covered the doorway of the latrine, ensuring some minimal measure of privacy during one's visit to the outhouse. It is strange that although the outhouse was designed and destined to be a permanent fixture of the home compound, its manner of construction conveyed the impression that it was hastily built as a temporary emergency facility. Bits and pieces of lumber and used galvanized sheets were salvaged from wherever and crudely nailed together, with obvious creases and spaces here and there compromising the level of privacy required for such a place. In fact, while seated on the box-like structure at the center of the building, one could easily observe the goings-on on the outer environment, and if trapped by any sudden downpour of rain, there must be a skillful dodging of raindrops coming through the perforated roof.
I'd now like to call Is Monica Babb available or with us? Monica, please. Monica, welcome. Welcome, Monica, to the stage.
Gentlemen, children. I was asked by my son to be here this evening. He got caught up in Trinidad and couldn't make it at all. So he was determined that I be here and deliver for him. His name is Jason Babb, and his pen name is Jason. He's a Trinidadian-born poet of dual nationality. He has spent several years residing in England and traveling throughout Europe. He has been influenced by a fusion of African, European, urban, American, and Caribbean cultures. Now, this piece is called Captain Loverman. Pack, 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 gunshots bark in the night. Joey's throat's slit involved in gang fight. Mr. Howard called Jamie. He offered him a toy. You believe stinking Howard raped the boy? Homie chopped his 2-year-old girl on her head. There was one bucket of water. Parish got angry. His grandmother is now dead. A brother's been stabbed just up the street. They charred Deborah's hands and severed her feet. Susie has started hooking on the street. She blew about 20 per night or day. That was her beat. She was the best. She used special effects and devices and charades. But that's not important anymore. She and all her tricks have caught the AIDS. Guns and arms flooding all over the place. Crack, Molly, and meth was invented. What a damn disgrace. Programmers dug and searched, then placed the signs, Eureka, I corrupt the algorithm, make them lose their minds. The media selecting dark news and clogging our hearts. Why do they find it important to discuss the living dead? They continually baffle, scare, and confuse our minds. News is about vanity, suffering, or some crime. Far too long, much too long, we stayed in silence. And as Mr. Marley stated, unjust laws cause crime and violence. Prices going up, jobs going down, Joe screaming out. What you really mistake we for? Some dollars and cents, pound shillings and pence, clowns? He yelled out. They're stamping and grinding we deep in the ground. Everybody's afraid to live. They bend their heads down. Entering the world full of fears. Keeping crack on financial affairs. Men bashing pregnant wives, hurling them downstairs, and the Almighty Father, who cares? I do, Father. I am ready on command. Take this portion and become Captain Loverman. I will slap them with feelings, kick them with thoughts. They so bazodi, they'll be praising Jah east, west, south, and north. Slam them with lyrics, rock them with lunk. On LeBron's head, I'll perform the smashing love dunk. I'll chop them with faith, yes, I'll have real fun. I fear not death or anyone, so I do not need a gun. I'll poison them with care, caring and loving. Teach tech 6-pack bomb, that's coming soon. Or did I damage you? Please allow me to heal your wounds, Mr. Loverman. Thank you.
This piece that I'm going to share with you
Um, my days of performing like Bethany and Sophia and Saisha and Jolie and Jonavan, those days, so I'm just going to share it with you best as I can. I'll leave it up to them to give you the facial expressions and all that kind of good stuff that they do so very well. This piece, I just actually scripted this today, so I have it in my cursive handwriting. It was actually inspired by the docu-movie that we showed last night. For those of you who did not make it out to the library last night, you missed a very, I say, touching docu-movie about the life of Molly, the Magnificent, a Kenyan boy who, after finding himself on the streets of Kenya at the age of 6, rose up to become, I believe, their first millionaire, multi-millionaire in all his ventures. In that movie, I didn't see him going to school, so he bypassed school altogether because that's the way his life took him. And then he just, what he did with his money is what you really need to see in that movie. It was really, really remarkable in what he did with his life and following that voice within without having a master's and a PhD and a bachelor's and all those things that sometimes distract us from our spirit, our souls. So this piece is dedicated to him. It's entitled, "The Next Degree." Schools are meant to be spaces persons go into to help them identify where their spaces, their purposes in life. Invariably, they are used to shape, to program them into the purpose of the architects, guardians of the matrix, the moneylenders, the world. Degrees are meant to be inducements, indicators of forward movements, not rest on laurels, rewards for years spent achieving at least a C or the plus. Doesn't matter that they still cuss, never meditate, graduate towards their I am. They procrastinate, always late, always on time with the program that tells them it's their fate. I reach simply means another lesson is about to unfold. Life comes with its own goals, goals that don't rely on scores or how good you are at all fours. It has its own lesson plans, offers degrees no school can, degrees that lead ultimately to the I am, the God mind. Bear in mind, life is never ending until it ends. It's never about the ends, but the eternal amount of time we have to spend, spending each eternal moment with peace in mind, telling mind to keep the change. It's always time for change, so stay constant. Don't let schools of thoughts trap you in a room, a box. Have you thinking inside the box. Life's degrees will have you thinking outside the box. But don't rest on your laurels, for to think as if there is no box awaits you. Ashe.
I want to call on one of the hosts of the First Mic the monthly event for the young and the young at heart. Her name is Sophia Morris, and she's going to present a piece for us. She's going to be talking about ghosts, I understand. If anyone indulges themselves or believes in Halloween, Halloween is next week, I believe, so she's going to be talking about ghosts.
Good night, everyone. My name is Sophia Morris, and I'll be singing a poem entitled Ghost by Harry Ben. A cold and starry darkness moans and settles wide and still over a jumble of tumbled stones, dark on a darker hill. An owl among those shadowy walls, gray against the gray, of ruins and brittle weeds calls and soundless swoops away. Rustling over scattered stones, dancers hover and sway, drifting among their own bones like webs of the Milky Way. Now I'd like to welcome to the mic Joel Keems Damas. Give it up for him.
Pleasant good evening. And I see I've been volunteered. Bacchanal! Bacchanal, Bacchanal! Was Bacchanal, 1950 Carnival. Fight for soul with invaders on Tokyo. My good friend lost his hat when they hit him a baseball bat. Never me again to jump in a silver and in polo speed. Invaders beating sweet. Coming down Park Street. Tokyo, coming up beating slow. Mama went in two band flash. If you see cutlass. Never be again. Jump in a silver. Bottles start pelting. People start running. Husband and wife running for their life. An Indian man selling bread ball out. Lad, today are dead. Never me again to jump in a sea ban in Port. Well, when things get hot, if you see man get caught, Lord Blakey running a house by a lady, quite on top the lady bed, they fell a bottle and bust his head. Never me again to jump in a sea ban in Port. That's been a gone.
Well, he came, he saw, and he conquered. Mr. Jerome Keynes Dumas, thank you very much. So now is I'm going to call on one of our colleagues from the Tobago Writers Guild. So be prepared, guild members. It's like a pick and mix. You might get called just now. She's been up to the stage once already. Her name, well, I wrongly designated her. I promoted her, you might say. Well, I'm sure she will attain that level, or could attain that level. I promoted her to position of principal of Scarborough Secondary School. She's actually the vice principal, as she admonished me. So I'd like to welcome once again Anne-Marie Davis, also known as La Profesora, La Maestra. She's the vice president of the Tobago Writers Guild, and she's going to be presenting or reciting a piece of poetry for us tonight, I believe. Is poetry? No. Anyway, it'll be a surprise package. Welcome once again, Anne-Marie Davis.
Well, good night, everyone. I have my backup team here. I was to change and all that. I worked with my clothes to change to really look like a Calypsonian, but he called me up early. But my name is still Lady Lulu. Calypso name, Lulu. Okay. Da 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 dun da dun da da dun. Da 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 dun da dun da da dun. Ba da ba dum ba dum ba da da ba da da. Sunny Maniti. Tobago want to run the home affairs. If they do that, it go have real tears. It have plenty thing out of place. But we talking autonomy race. We had to put we own house in order before we think about setting border. The island sweet, but the place a mess. So fix it for me, yes. Ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-ba-dum. I'm telling you, dum ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-ba-dum, ba-da-dum. It a pothole big like a river. Some of them could hold a deep sea diver. Sierra Ramos busy paving the highway. What about them side street and all them byway? It has some basic road we does use, but them does never make the news. The island sweet, but the place a mess. So fix it for me, yes. Ba-ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-ba-dum. I tell you, dum ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-dum. Sunny Maniti, the brand new hospital in Signal Hill. When they build it, everybody thrill. But nothing a change up there at all. You visit them morning and you leave nightfall. Make sure you walk with pillow and sheet. Up there is Iceland, it a heat. The island sweet, but the place a mess. So fix it for me, yes. Ba-ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-da-bum, ba-dum, ba. Sunny manity. Well, though talk about getting a job, that is why them youth does shoot and they rob. In this place is who you know best. Pass through the back door and do no test. You get the job, but work you can't do. The boss and them go cover for you. The island sweet, but the place a mess. So fix it for me, yes. Ba ba da ba dum ba dum ba da dum ba ba dum ba ba dum ba dum ba da dum ba ba da ba dum ba dum ba da da bum ba dum. Fix any money. Scarborough like a big shanty tongue. It only light up since Portmore come. When them cruise ships sail and they reach, all the tourists walk on the beach. Well, if it's Sunday, place lock up tight. Not a tourist crash up inside. The island sweet, but the place a mess. So fix it for me, yes. Ba ba da ba dum ba dum ba da dum ba ba dum. I tell you, dum ba dum ba da ba bum ba dum. Sunny manity. Education here does real upset me. The division never had no money. You can't do much in the school. So you raise funds to buy all the tool. You can't correct them children at all. Cause them parents go carry on. The island sweet, but the place a mess. So fix it for me, yes. Ba-ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da, ba-ba-dum. I tell you, dum ba dum ba da ba bum ba dum ba. Fix humanity. We need to get it right in this land before we run thing with we own hand. Let we open we eye and see all that could improve here for we. We need to uplift and help each other and not pull down and hurt our brother. The island sweet, but the place a mess. So fix it for me, yes. Ba ba da ba dum ba dum ba da dum ba ba dum. I tell you, dum ba dum ba da ba bum ba dum. Sunny for me. Thank you very much.
I'm calling on one of the hosts of the first mic. She's going to be reciting a poem for us. Her name is Saisha Joseph. She's done sterling work at First Mic as a host, but we're going to be hearing from her tonight, not necessarily as a host, but as a poetess. So please welcome Saisha.
My name is Saisha Joseph, and I'm going to be reciting a poem to you entitled Recess. Ting-a-ling-a-ling, the school bell ring. Recess, recess, children screaming. To Auntie the children run to buy salt nuts, tullum, and plum. Greedy Alvin, only begging, none for you, says Fat Marvin. In the corner is John's brother, concentrating on his parata. See Miss and Sir by the table, drinking Moby, none for Mabel. In the schoolyard, no one is sad. Children are playing, they are so glad. Then thing-a-ling-a-ling, the school bell ring, and recess ends. It's work again. Thank you.
We have los tres panelists. So I'd like to welcome the three panelists to the stage.
Jonathan Francis, and I'm 11 years old. And, well, let's get right into it. And now we would like to invite Tobago Real, and they're doing a calypso live in Tobago long ago. Give it up for Tobago Real.
Good evening. My name is Kendrick Andrews, but everybody know me as Tobago Rio. And I'm here to do a selection called Life in Tobago. How it used to be. Tobago is changing rapidly. Long ago was nice, although life was hard and somewhat primitive. Plenty sacrifice, men have to work hard, things were not expensive. Life in Tobago wasn't easy, but people used to live like one family, and almost in every community, people had real love and unity. If a person want to cut a foundation, the whole village coming to lend a hand. All they need is some roast beef and chocolate tea, and you're getting your foundation cut for free. I check in for you, you check in for me. That is how life in Tobago used to be. Everybody checking for everybody. That is how life in Tobago used to be. I concerned about you, you concerned about me. That is how life in Tobago used to be. Everybody concerned about everybody. That is how life in Tobago used to be. A relative die, everybody cry because they feel sorry. Funeral expense, you ain't have a cent, but you don't have to worry. Endless people coming out to the week, and each one have a contribution to make. Some walking with food stuff, some bringing cash, and you're getting your business fixed in a flash. Carpenters coming to make the coffin, grave diggers digging the grave for nothing. Just carry some food by the cemetery. That is how life in Tobago used to be. I check in for you, you check in for me. That is how life in Tobago used to be. Everybody checking for everybody. That is how life in Tobago used to be. I concerned about you, you concerned about me. That is how life in Tobago used to be. Everybody concerned about everybody. That is how life in Tobago used to be. People long ago, well, they didn't know about pipe-borne water. And they used to go where the water flow down by the river. They used to burn dry wood and coconut shell. Housewives long ago, they really get hell. And without any fear, like they didn't care, some of them used to make a child every year. A woman used to make up to 15 children in a little house, just 16 by 10. And the husband getting a small salary and used to manage to maintain the whole family. I check in for you, you check in for me. That is how life in Tobago used to be. Everybody checking for everybody. That is how life in Tobago used to be. I concerned about you, you concerned about me. That is how life in Tobago used to be. Everybody concerned about everybody. That is how life in Tobago. used to be. Yoppa. Children long ago, well, they didn't know about television. But they used to play almost every day, and they used to have fun. Boys used to pitch marble and fly the kite. Girls used to play hide and seek in the night. And they used to go by their old granny to tell them a Bra and Nancy story. They used to like to hear stories about Jumbi, Sukunya, Old Hide, Mermaid and Fairy. And people did believe in Obia for so, especially the people from Roxborough. I check in for you check in for me. That is how life in Tobago used to be. Everybody checking for everybody. That is how life in Tobago used to be. I concerned about you concerned about me. That is how life in Tobago used to be. Everybody concerned about everybody. That is how life in Tobago used to be. Yeppa.
Dr. Jennifer Bailey is ready at the mic, and she's going to be performing for us.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I have been living in Tobago for 7 years. My dad is originally from Tobago, my mom from Trinidad. I am a genuine Trinbagonian. I was about to select one of my own poems for today's reading when I came across a book that I was about to give away when I read the first lines on the book jacket, and they spoke to me with deliberate intensity. So I decided not to give the book away, to bring it to Tobago, and today, as I began reading it, I thought, isn't this a profound opportunity to share with others? It was written by Oriah Mountain Dreamer, who is a workshop leader and a spiritualist, after attending a party one night. And when she left that party, she came home and sat at her desk, and the impact of the whole experience led her to write this poem in one sitting. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you have touched the center of your own sorrow, if you have been opened by life's betrayal, or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or yours, without moving to hide it or fade it, or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or yours. If you can dance with wildness and let the ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes, without cautioning us to be careful, to be realistic, to remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you are telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself, if you can bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul, if you can be faithless and therefore trustworthy. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it's not pretty, every day, and if you can source your own life from its presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand on the edge of the lake and shout to the silver of the moon, yes. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after the night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else falls away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself, and if you can truly like the company you keep in the empty moments. Thank you.
Okay, good night again. My name is Saisha Joseph. As I said before, I'm 10 years old, and I'm pleased to introduce John Van Francis. He's 11 years old, and he attends the Bonaccord Government Primary School, and he is going to be singing a song called
Actually, I forgot the lyrics with all this fun. So, the next person, please, and then if I remember it, then I would come up. Okay, I can just sing a next song. Okay, I don't know what to sing. So, lately I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. When the morning comes, when we see what we begun. In the cold light of day, we are flaming in the fight we begun. Every argument, every word we can take back. And I think that is happening. I know that we both know the way that the story ends. And then only for a minute, I want to change my mind, 'cause this just don't feel right to me. I want to raise your spirit. I want to see you smile, but no, that means I'll have to leave. No, that means I'll have to leave. Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. Thank you.
Uh, this good business name is best known on the football field. Like most of you may not know, I coach and I referee. But it was some 29 years ago in this very room. I worked here for a long time in this, what was called Works Division. And so we had this competition. And Mr. Moore, you remember that. We had this focus group. And this was the winning piece, actually. And it's called Save the Youths. You know, and there's so much happening in Trinidad and Tobago at this time with our youths. Not these youths are saved. Because I heard some young lady on the radio one morning this week. Oh, great, beautiful. In fact, not beautiful, lovelyful. That's a new word for you only. All right, so it's called Save the Youths. Save the youths. Some youths in Trinidad and Tobago. Of them I will let you know. These youths today gone off on some funny thing, and their own beautiful culture dying. Indeed, it is very sad to relate. They blank their own art in this union state. It's rather sad to know that culture hit Trinbago. Let's save the youths from destruction. We have to find a solution and develop a true concept for them made by me and you. Now that's my solution to help save this young generation. Some things have to stop before all we youths get licked up. You know we have to save the youths. Reach out and touch the youths. Reach out, bring back the youths. Let's tell the youth the truth. Some things have to stop before all the youths get mashed up. Another thing that I have to say, I've seen spiritual and moral decay. And this is something we have to stop because it causes all standards to drop. You see, the plans we have to conceive is one that cannot deceive, otherwise it's boo from the youths to me and you. Let's save the youths of this nation. We have to find that solution. Let's develop a true concept for them made by me and you. That's the only solution to help save this young generation. Some things have to stop before all we youths get shoot up. You know we have to save the youths. Reach out and touch the youths. Reach out, bring back the youth. We have to tell the youth the truth. Some things have to stop before all the youths get like up. That's it. Beautiful.
And we ask Ms. Sophia Cooper to come to the microphone, please.
Good evening, everyone. Caribbean Strong is a piece that explores globalization. In a regional context, it is told through two perspectives, the cynic and the optimist. See if you can tell when the shift in perspective occurs. Let's talk about the benefits of a world not anchored by your ancestral past or your standpoint epistemology, devoid of any evidence of your own paternity. You have to suppress your own everything for someone else's imaging. I think there is hope, though. Globalization is good for sharing knowledge. So, medical breakthroughs and free trade to boost employment in poor countries. Everybody could be happy. Wait, but then pharmaceutical companies out to make money. They can't get rich if people healthy. Same lyrics, different melody. It's our colonial past come back to bite we. Imperialists, colonists, misogynist thinkers, they lead us astray if we continue to wear blinkers, treated like an animal without human rights. Dignity is a human right. So will they dignify me by handing over the equal rights afforded to a globalized citizenry? George Orwell had an explanation for this in his book, Animal Farm. Some are more equal than others. It is the justification for chattel slavery. Now, that was free trade globalization in its infancy. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a xenophobe. I love everybody, no matter if your androcentric or Eurocentric beliefs make you hate me. I want peace. Let's get together and feel all right, like Bob Marley. It's just that I value my own Caribbean identity, even if I'm one atom in the global anatomy, distinct and important, just like everybody. So let's go back to basics. A place has a culture, the social, religious, and political constructs of a civilized society. But does a globalized economy have a GPS address or geography? Does it have land, seas, trees, and polity? Or just a vacuous space in eternity? Sounds like Facebook ideology. Signing in online somehow gives you a passport and nationality. I'm not sure this globalization would work, unless we are grounded by our own philosophy. That's why I much rather prefer Marcus Garvey and the idea of self-determination in your own country. Then we can talk about the benefits of globalization to a third world economy. I want to be a revisionist in the guise of a revolutionist and give life to Carl Becker's definition of a historian and create an extension of my ancestors' history or her story. I know what you're asking me in this moment today. How do I define my Caribbean identity? Let me try to explain. Taken from the place of my African mother and father, brought to the place of my Kalinago brother, joined by my Indian sister. It's a mix of Syrian, Chinese, French, Spanish, and Dutch ancestors. It sounds like confusion, but think of this mix like a rainbow, complete in its identity, even if you can see each color individually. Every country that borders the Caribbean Sea, from Belize to the Surinamese, then up again just before the Florida Keys. My piece of paradise includes all of these, even if we break it down to just the West Indies, the Caribbean Basin, or the Antilles. Yes, that's the way to a globalized economy. I won't have to give up my birth certificate to be a global citizen in order to develop my country. I can do it right here from sweet TNT.
Special good night to all. I am going to do a short story, and it is entitled Bobo George and the Melon Field. More than 150 years ago, there lived a man at Cologne whose name was Bobby George, but was fondly called Bobo George. He was a great farmer and planted many crops, but his favorite was the watermelon. So one day while passing, he saw a portion of land that looked very fertile. He stopped and had a further look at it and said to himself, "This is a good place to put down a good crop of melon." He said, "Let me test this area to see if this soil is really good." So he cleared and planted a small amount of melon to see if the melon would really bear as the ground looked. The yield was tremendous, and Bobo George set out to clear a far greater portion of land for the next crop. This portion of land was near the sea, and the winds in that area was very strong. So he made a buka at the center of the land, so that when the buka is lit, the fire would be confined and not spread, because near the place
he was clearing was the grave of some of the ancestors, and wanting to disturb them very little, if any at all. So day after day, and for weeks, he was cutting and clearing the land, and the buka was growing bigger and bigger every day. While all that was taking place, persons were stealing his melon, but this bothered him very little, as his mind was set on the big yield and the mammoth crop he anticipated. One day, Baba George looked and saw the massive area that was cleared. The large buka stood in the center of the land like a pyramid, and decided it is time to burn. He lit the buka in many places and stayed a safe distance away to watch it burn. As the fire began to rage, a voice was heard calling, "Baba George, Baba George." It was coming from a part of the buka that was near the graves. But he did not answer. The voice called again. This time it was mournful. "Baba George, Baba George, I done dead already. You gonna kill me a second time?" Then part of the buka started moving towards Baba George, and the voice repeated, "You go kill me a second time, Baba George?" He ran a short distance away, and due to fright, started begging his ancestors. Poor Baba George did not know that a man went to steal his melon, and when he saw Baba George coming, he ran and hid himself in the buka. As the fear and trembling overwhelmed Baba George, he became weak, but was still able to recognize the emerging figure from the buka. It was Baka, a known garden thief. Baba George scrambled for his gun, and in desperation, pointed the butt, desperation and nervousness, pointed the butt of the gun to Baka and the barrel of the gun to himself, saying to Baka, "This time, if you want to, this time, decide if you want to dead or if you want to live." Baka, on seeing the position of the gun, immediately capitalized on the error and started running. Baba George, in the midst of his nervousness, was still able to get it right. This time, the gun, but by this time, Baka had made good his escape, leveling while planting and balize in his trail. He was still able to fire a shot in the direction of Baka. And Baka, without shame, told the people in the village that when Baba George fired the shot that was to shoot him in the garden, he was home a long time ago and heard the shot echoed in Culloden. From that day onward, no one interfered with Baba George's melon field or anything that he planted. But Baba George told the villagers that he'd have a thief called Baka. He went in my melon field and stole my melon. But if I did catch him, I would have shoot him, and the villagers would have never seen Baka again. Thank you.
Comes let me tell you about the man called Bolton. Bolton was a guy in the army. And he liked to show off he liked to just talk and play, things and words. So after a function in the army, the place needed cleaning up, and he told his subordinates, you all clean up the debris, clean up the debris. So the subordinate said, officer, it's not the debris, it's the debris. He said, oh man, singular debris, plural debris. The next time now, he's at this big function, and all the big officers are there and making contributions and speaking about the improvement of the army. So the fellas like to heckle this man. They like to see him make a fool of himself. So they say, officer, you have to speak on my behalf, and you can't let them outshine you. So after all the big speeches and things, he goes up to the microphone. He said, gentlemen, I'm hearing everybody speaking tonight about the means of production, but I've not heard anyone speaking about the production of the means. So everybody fall below the table and went catapulting themselves from jokes, because he just liked to show off himself.
I'm going to do a song for you, which I composed, called, it's Support Our Sportsmen and Sporting Traditions. We will go to the stadium, we will see what used to go on there and what is happening at the stadium, and then we will think about our own indigenous sporting tradition.
Testing.
Something else. Very good. Round of applause. Yeah, man. A very important skill. Yes. Mr. DJ? You know what you people have on us? If a calypsonian has 50 tunes, and he has learned it for the last umpteen years, he has to remember every single thing. And you all are so privileged to come with paper. Grano had to remember everything and start to learn, so I will take a little peep now and then. Eli! Olga! World Cup 2001, first stadium in Tobago. It was a fanfare, sportsmen feeling proud for so. Soon as the sportsmen enter, the place turned a culture center. Too much compromise on the Mundo track. Come let me tell you how we fall back. Into department, high heel shoes, bottles in sandpit, Mundo track under attack. Stadium abuse and mismanagement, they go sports in predicament. Like we going back to square one, sportsmen have no place to train and run. Hakeem Stewart, silver and gold, Rio and London, his medal shine. Against all odds, he's best in the world. We must never leave our sportsmen behind. The sportsmen and women of Tobago need support and recognition. Our trainers and coaches also need support and recognition. The para-athletes of this land, give them a helping hand. In them we must invest to make Tobago the best. In them we must invest to bring TNT success. Yes. Hakeem Stewart, TNT sportsmen suffering. Haiti had to feed and rescue them. What kind of management is this? Let us celebrate GNT sportsmen down in Rio. Walcott, Kane and Stewart, 3 Olympic heroes. But we stadium is a dance hall park. Look, we sportsmen in the dark. All them artists just jam and sing. Look, they come out to bling. Taros Riley, Alkaline Popcorn and Cartel. Every bling is a ranking thing. Like we make track for Gucci to run. Look, always stadium run down. Jamaica does take the sport seriously. We stadium, they party and make money. We young people crave their music so bad. In Tobago and Trinidad. But while we dancing, they won't drop. They're training young youths to reach the top. The sportsmen and women of Tobago under pressure for so. They're killing sports in Trinbago with inflated ego. The ego trip is important. Sportsmen becoming stagnant. No resources is the norm. Still we want them perform. Facilities badly lacking, but we medal hunting. Congratulations to Lalone and Rene Quo. Hold it up. Oh God. Late in 1960, Bago bumboat sailing began. Sailors from Roxborough, Beckwith and Vincent in competition. Every Easter and August, they put their sailing skills to the test. Now the sport is a dying art. Tell me how it fell apart. On recognition, all the heads dying. Politics, dragon boat, jump in the mix. Bonding with friends no longer exists. Ancestral roots gonna drift. We water sports facing extinction. Bring back the sailboat competition. Mitchum and Lindo are dead and gone. Now where is the art form? So we must always remember Tobago had she own regatta. We had the water sports in Tobago many years ago. Bring back the water sports in Tobago. That's the way to go. Mitchum and Lindo, we salute you. To you all chases are due. You nurtured the art form. Now you're dead and gone. The dragon boat take over. It's we who kill, we culture. Eli. Oh God. 2006, Chinese dragon boat arrival. 2011, they go join the festival. This might bust your bubble, just the fact I ain't come for trouble. We import everything from China, now we importing their culture. 2,000 years ago, Chinese poet drowned himself in a river. Dragon boat to honor the fella. No big money we sponsor. Put it on we culture calendar. Glamorous, not indigenous. Tell me what will it profit us? When we neglect we very own. We like a dog without a bone. So I sit and I wonder if we will import the dog meat culture. We had the water sports into big years ago. Bring back we water sports into Tobago. That's the way to go. Mitchum and Lindo, we salute you. To you all praises are due. You nurtured the art form. Now you're dead and gone. The dragon boat take over. It's we who kill, we culture. I was dreaming in my dream of a bungs up spoiler, telling him how I'm a hard luck fella. I dreaming in my dream of a bungs up spoiler, telling him how a hard luck in Calypso. I told him, every year singing good calypso song, but everything I do, Bummer doing it wrong. This year I want to be calypso king, so I tell Spoiler, give me a song to sing. He turn and tell me, sing about Alice in Wonderland, how she shed so much tears in her pitch oil pan. And when the pitch oil tin overflow, the girl swim from Tongue to San Fernando. Oh, my darling, I wanna fall.
You're watching me.
So I used to sing for them like a slave. They wouldn't even burn a cock set on top my grave.
You know, I like to do my own little thing too. And Carol has sung about us losing our culture. What a profound commentary that was. And the piece I want to do is one you're all very familiar with called Man Piaba, Woman Piaba. You know it? It's a song. Well, yeah, glad you all don't, the younger people don't know it. I know me and the singer, but I'll do something on it. It starts with the people in the group asking the singer, who is a bush lady, neighbor, where you get there, neighbor, oi, where you get there, neighbor, oi, what bush you get there? All right, so she sing, I get man piaba, woman piaba, tan foul tongue and lemongrass, gully root, mini root, granny backbone, bitter sally and stinking tone, Portuguese bam bam fast falala, Cassiamaho and Congolala, all of that there and more tralala, are when me have ya today. And then the choir repeats what she has. She have what? She have man piaba, woman piaba, tan foul tongue and lemongrass, gully root, mini root, granny backbone, bitter sally and stinking toad, Portuguese bam bam fast falala, Cassamaho and Congolala, all of that and more gal me have ya. When me have ya today. So they ask you, neighbor, oi, away good for neighbor, oi, away good for neighbor, oi, away good for them bush you have there today. She said, it could pass your cough, pass your cold, bring back your youth, you never get old, pep up your life, keep home your wife, push up bushette, any pain you get, guard your land, catch husband, stop diarrhea and jumbie belly, all of that and more. And when me get ya, them bush ya, they're good for. So they repeat. He could guard you, he could pass your car, pass your coat, bring back your youth, you'll never get old, push up, back up your wife, keep push up, push it, any pain you get, guard your land, catch husband, stop diarrhea and jumbie belly, all of that there and more tralala. And where them girl they get there. Old Miss Matty get cough and cold, get a draw some greater wood in a bowl. Nelly she belly mattress drop. Look some ruku to bring it up. Neighbor she get bad sore at she skin. Nelly she get it till she eye spin. Give them bush, let them drink, let them be, to help out them poor old maid. Now, you see, we make joke of this, but these are the bush that we had long ago that our young guys don't know. We don't even know it. So we sing this song, but we just sing over it because it's a nice rhythm. But we need to stop and really mourn about what we've lost for the dragon boat and the, what is the thing you say, Carol? The dog me right. So it is a very relevant point you made, and when we think of what we've lost with this is really, this is not imaginary, no, these bushes were there. Man Piab, I think I barely remember Man Piab. But I don't know anything else. I don't know anything else here. The one that would push up bushette, keep home my husband, guard my land, stop diarrhea and jumbie belly. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen.
Attention for the singing of one of our national songs.